This afternoon, on this wet and windy day, I'm off to the Hive London to watch Barnet take on Southend United in a massive National League clash. Let's get going. Well, as you can see, we're on our way to the game now, to the Hive. But before we do get to the stadium, let's take a quick look back at what happened last week on Boxing Day. As just a week ago or so, Barnet took on Southend United, this time at a sold-out Route Sewell, with Barnet winning the game 2-0. It was a fantastic performance from the Bees. I know we won 6-0 against Bournemouth the weekend beforehand, so coming into the game on, a high, but I was not expecting that type of performance, especially in front of a sold-out crowd. Somehow, though, he did manage to win. It was a fantastic finish. Did take a bit of a deflection from Rees Johnson, but he's in fantastic form. That's 2 goals in 2 games for the right wing back, and also a second half penalty from Harry Pritchard, which pretty much put the game to bed. I know during the game though there was a couple of dodgy refereeing calls. Southend did manage to get a goal back in the game through Sandat. He was played through on goal, slotted past the goalkeeper. However, he was judged to be offside, but looking back on the replays, it was really clear that he was not offside at all. He was onside by a country mile or more. So some dodgy decisions which, Southend fans have said is why they lost the game. Also, before the match, there was a few arguments and a few bits of confusion to do with tickets as well, with Southend United suddenly taking all tickets off sale, meaning that lots of Barnet fans weren't able to go. All of these events sparking somewhat of a rivalry between the two clubs' fan bases coming into today's game. I know there's also going to be a couple thousand Southend United fans coming down for the away end today. There's going to be thousands of Barnet fans too. So all of this leading into the game should make for a really, really exciting encounter. Well, we finally arrived at the Hive. Let's take a quick look at the National League table. Now, despite a dip in form of late, Barnet are still really continuing their title push, and another 3 points today would be a massive help on this and could push them up to second place, really breathing down the necks of league leaders Chesterfield. As for Southend United, despite a dodgy start to the season because of transfer embargoes and bad results and injuries, they're still really pushing for the playoff places too and are currently in 15th place, but a win today would help them as they push on into the top half of the league table. Now, back in February, you may have seen it, I was actually at Southend United to film a video at one of their games as they were protesting against their owner, Ron Martin. This was because of years of failure, unpaid tax bills, unpaid staff, points deductions, and lots more problems. The fans were all fed up. Well, luckily it was announced earlier this month that the sale of the club has finally gone through to a consortium led by Australian IT millionaire Justin Rees. Also, with the takeover, a transfer embargo that's been on the club for 15 months has finally been lifted, and they've made some key signings and contract extensions over the past 48 hours. I'm joined now by Dave, a massive Southend United fan. Before we get to the takeover, first of all today, of course, last week on Boxing Day it was a 2-0 loss to Barnet. Since then, hopefully it's going to be a better referee. You've signed a player for the first time in a while. Are you confident that you can get your revenge today?
I am confident. We've done well the last 2 visits. We've had 2 good wins in the last 2 seasons. We used to do well at Underhill as well. 1,800 shrimpers here. It was a bit flat Boxing Day. Yeah. I think we were still a little bit hungover from for Christmas and the news of the takeover. I think our away support is so good, so loud. We'll be the 12th man today.
Let's move on to that takeover. Of course, it was February the last time I spoke to you, right in the thick of the protests and the trouble and the point deductions. Yeah. Could you just sum up what's happened since then and where you are now?
So the club was put up for sale in March by Ron Martin. It took 280 days, and then finally we have a consortium together, which has been put together by an Australian called Justin Rees, who's actually here today. I've just seen him. The contracts were exchanged, and we found out at 2:45, 15 minutes before we kicked off against Kidderminster
Right.
away. So obviously that's a cracking atmosphere. A party atmosphere, but probably more relief. Because the last time I spoke to you was worried we might lose our club. It was worrying times, but we've got it seems like a really good consortium, involves a couple of season ticket holders, some good businessmen, and hey, we'll start rebuilding from now.
Of course, you've signed a player already. What are the next steps for the club now this takeover is complete?
We've just got to be on a firm footing, so everyone's been paid.
Yeah.
Have a football club that's run like a football club. We need more players. Every team needs more, but we do need more players. We played the other week with only one person on the bench, so we just need to build the squad. Some people are talking, and we can go for the playoffs, mid-table obscurity. Let's just get on a firm footing and start again next season.
You say some people want those playoffs. Are you
oh God, no, not at all.
Pessimistic?
Yeah, no. Look, I think I've been supporting Southend for long enough. I believe we're 8 points from playoffs.
Yeah.
I think we might be only 4 points from the relegation. So we've got to look at that as well.
Very
now, the team are saying positive things, that we get the right players in. We could fight for the playoffs. Of course, I'm going to be ecstatic if we do, but let's just be happy at the moment that we've got our team back, we've got our club back, and hopefully we can start turning it around, and let's see what we can do on the pitch today.
And finally, of course, you're a photographer as well as being a United fan. You mentioned you've got a book coming out. Could you tell everyone at home what this book's about and why they should get it?
The book comes out on the 10th of February. It's called Roots Hall, Our Stadium, Our Home. So it's going to be a photographic book of all my photographs that I've taken over the years, and some very moving words from some very special guests, which will be announced nearer the time.
Great, well thank you very much for joining me.
My pleasure.
No good luck in the stadium today, but good luck for the rest of the season.
My pleasure.
Thanks
very
much.
Cheers, thank you.
Right, as you can see, we're in the ground now, the home end slowly filling up. That away stand behind the goal over there is slowly filling up with Shrimpers fans as well. So let's take a quick look at the lineup. Starting for Barnet in goal is number 1, Laurie Walker. We've got Rees Johnson, of course, scored in the opening 5 minutes last week. Ben Coker, Akimo. Gorman is the captain. Kabamba, top scorer this season. We've got Pritchard, Hartigan, Alowu, Potter and Brunt. Unfortunately, Danny Collins is missing out. He would have played a huge part in this game, but he is unavailable, probably because of an injury, but Barnet have not yet confirmed that. Looking at Southend United, they've gone with Adeng Md, probably butchered that pronunciation, but he's in goal. Then you've got Scott Morris, Ralph is their captain, Kensdale, Bridge, Houston, Taylor, Fonguk, Sander, of course, scored the offside goal last week. Vilhete, who I believe used to play for Barnet, and Coker, another Coker, this time Southend, who I believe is playing in their attack. Again, atmosphere slowly building. We've got about half an hour till kick-off. Really looking forward to this one.
Well, no full-on food review today as we were very hungry and already tucked in, but I got a nice quarter pounder with cheese, hot dog over there, and looking this way we've got a very packed out Southend fan, away end. Over here, not too many seats. We were meant to sit over here today, but there was a drum in our seat for some reason, so we moved over here. But yeah, looking forward to this one.
Both teams made their way out onto the pitch in front of over 4,000 supporters, ready to kick off this clash. It was clear from the start that Barnet really did want to do this festive double over the Shrimpers, Kabamba getting stuck in from the get-go. The Bees were also putting together some good bits of attacking play, but just weren't able to finish it off. Zach Brunt then had this glorious chance, juggling the ball through the Southend defence before being denied by the goalkeeper. Southend kept on shutting down Barnet's attacks with some really tough tackles. Despite the good defence, Southend's goalkeeper was prone to giving away corners. Near the end of the first half, the linesman then went down injured with a problem with his leg. He had to be wheelchaired off and then was replaced by the fourth official. Hopefully he's doing alright now. Southend's Hussein had a strike, but it was sent over the bar. He probably wasn't helped by the wind. Coker leapt into the box with a lovely bit of skill, but he was robbed of the ball by a tremendous tackle. And that was all for the first 45, 0-0. Well, that's half time here at the Hive, 0-0. A really exciting first half. Lots of good play from Barnet. They really have stolen the show. The Bees, Southend haven't had many chances at all. And the chances that they have had have all come from just hoofing the ball upfield. That's really been their game plan from minute 1 to now minute 45. For me, if I was Dean Brennan, what I'd be saying to Barnet in the dressing room is, you know, they're doing too much almost. They're having some nice passes. They're not just hoofing up the ball like Southend are. They're playing it around. They're getting into the box. They're taking a lot of touches, but maybe too many touches. They need to be a little bit braver. They need to get the ball into the box and shoot, because it's clear this Southend goalkeeper is a little bit nervy. Their defence is a bit nervy too. Attacking down the left-hand side, Barnet have been having a lot of joy, so they just need to get it in the box and make sure that they are coming out in the second half and scoring. The players then made their way back out onto the pitch for the second half. Southend began with a lot more intention than the first half. Here, Sandat picking up the ball after a loose pass, forcing a corner. Laurie Walker was then called into action, punching away Fonguk's cross. "64 minutes in, Kabangolo was played through on goal, only for Walker to force himself in front of the ball, making a great save, although he did get injured in the process. Luckily, he was okay to carry on. Hussein then had another chance, picking up on Walker's loose kick, but his strike was just wide of the post. Barnet then began to hit back. Rees Johnson here, looking for his third goal in 3 games, but it was blocked. Jordan Cropper had been brought on for the Bees for his speciality, long throws. In the 84th minute of the game, he pulled off another great one, with Alowu getting his head onto the end of it to score to make it 1-0 to Barnet. Southend weren't prepared to give up that easily though, but 3 successive good chances were all stopped by a solid Barnet defence.
Good defending. Save! Yes!
Kanu was then played through on goal up the other end of the pitch, but his effort, which surely would have put the game to bed, was saved. He then made a fantastic run, winning a foul and using up another precious bit of time.
Oh, Idris Kanu, you little dancer! What a run! Referee, that's a foul.
One last corner came in for Southend. It was cleared, then put back in before Pritchard hoofed the ball out of the stadium. And that was full time, 1-0 to Barnet in a heart-racing football match.
1,800 fans. They can't do it on the pitch. Bottles being thrown now by Southend fans. Oh, and they've kicked down the advertising board as well.
Well, full time here at the Hive, an absolutely incredible win for the Bees. 1-0 full time with Olowu heading in that goal around the 70th minute mark. It was getting nervy near the end, but the Bees managed to pull through. There was some fantastic defending all throughout the night. Laurie Walker, an incredible performance by the Barnet goalkeeper too, and making some crucial saves right near the end. From minute 1 in the game, it seemed like Barnet were dominating. It was Southend, long ball after long ball after long ball. Barnet who really were creating the most chances. And it just seemed, like I said at half-time, we weren't shooting enough, we weren't getting the ball into the box. But we brought on Idris Kanu, probably the club's best player, and all of a sudden everything changed. We were creating so many more chances, getting those clear-cut ones as well, like Olowu's, and of course we scored. There was over 4,000 people in the stadium today. 18,000, not 18,000, that would have been a lot, 1,800 Shrimpers fans in the away end and a couple hundred, I'm sure, in this Barnet home end as well, along with a couple thousand Barnet fans in the Legends stand too, making an absolutely incredible atmosphere. I know the Southend fans will say, oh, it was all just us who were doing the singing, but especially near the end of the game, in the final 20-30 minutes, the Barnet fans really got going. And it's games like this, even if we haven't been in the greatest form of late over the past month or two, it's games like this and the past 3 games which really do show how far Barnet has come as a football club over the past couple of months, or years I should say, under Dean Brennan, and a really, really good night here at the Hive. I believe it was a Bromley win. I'll have to check out the results, so they still stay in 2nd place, but you know, like I said before the match, you know, Barnet, we've just got to focus on ourselves. We've got to keep on racking up these points, and hopefully we will manage to track down on Chesterfield. I know we play them in January, so just keep up this good run of form, and fingers crossed we can at least make it into those playoff places, if not go and win this whole league. And again, it's nights like this that make us believe that we can do it. Of course, it's really good to see Southend doing well now the takeover's gone through. 1,800 in that away end, and I know they've always had great home and away support, but hopefully now this takeover's gone through, they can bring in some more players, they can push on for the rest of the season, and as long as it's not against Barnet, I wouldn't, you know, be disappointed at all if they were to win the playoffs, because they've got a team with that quality, and they definitely, a club of the size of Southend, deserve to be in one of those higher leagues. Full time here at the Hive, 1-0, up the Barnet, what a win. Like, subscribe, share and comment, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.